Hey guys, Toy Guru Neitlich here, back with another toy industry video. Why? Well, because I spent 25 years in the toy industry, and I'm also a collector, which gives me a unique perspective. Today I want to do a quick video on what's going on with the latest breaking news about Hasbro, that they laid off 20% of their workforce. This is pretty big, but it's not that uncommon for the toy industry. In fact, the time I spent at Mattel, I think there were layoffs every other year, and like massive layoffs, not just this, 93 that happened in 2016. So yeah, this happens a lot. So in particular with this current layoff at Hasbro, what exactly went wrong? They have to lay off 20% of their entire workforce and close one of their headquarters buildings. Well, a big part of it is Hasbro has kind of gotten the unfortunate sort of end of the stick where they've been contractually obligated to make toys for content that hasn't performed. Something that Hasbro can't control, but they can obviously change how they do contracts and whether or not they're required to make toys for every piece of content a studio partner creates. Because you can't control whether or not the movie takes off or not, and this can backfire. But the other big issue is something that Hasbro can control. And they clearly made the choice to, the whole, phrase of go woke, go broke. They had some, environmental focus for their toys. Now, there's nothing wrong with making environmentally friendly toys. I actually have several clients who do this, and I love economically friendly toys. Environmentally friendly. Well, I guess economically would be friendly too, but that's actually part of the problem, is that eco-friendly toys tend to be very expensive. They're usually handmade, or they're made out of materials that biodegrade, like wood. Wood toys are very expensive to make, which is why you don't see them outside of things like blocks and, very young kid toys, things like Melissa and Doug, although they're now owned by Spin Master, so that's an entirely different conversation. The point being is that most organic material that's used for toys, like cloth and wood, while it is very environmentally friendly, they don't tend to make great play toys. There are places for biodegradable product, absolutely, outdoor toys, things like that. But for the most part, toys that are sold as economically and environmentally friendly, well, they kind of can only do one of those things. You can't be economically friendly and environmentally friendly at the same time. You have to sort of choose one or the other. You're going to pay a lot more for toys that are biodegradable, if you will. So the way Hasbro tackled this was to eliminate the plastic from their packaging. And I know that as collectors, we've all struggled about this, but imagine as a parent seeing something like this on shelf. This reads as a puzzle or a game. It doesn't read as an action figure set. And that is the core of what happened with Hasbro in 2023. They switched all of their product from a window box to a closed box. Now, while this has an environmental factor, the problem is, whether it was dolls or action figures, you could no longer see the toy. And the reason this is a problem is because the biggest motivator to buying a toy product is piece count. Parents look at a toy and they see, oh, how much am I going to get? A figure, accessories, a game, tokens, a Nerf blaster with lots of darts. When you can't see the full piece count because it's hidden by a closed box, you are literally shutting the door to sales. You are essentially saying, okay, well, we recognize that the audience wants to see piece count, but we're going to ignore that. Collectors had a big issue because about 20% of us want to store our product in package. But again, for parents, they looked at the different ways Hasbro approached this. Closed box, and then sort of the open tray, see the figure without a window. Problem with this is it invites, pilfering and thievery, whether it's for the full figure or just a character's head. Go look at those LeBron figures from Space Jam if you want to get a good laugh. Go Google it. But yeah, having figures that are not encased in a full box, the Lord of the Rings troll, cave troll from 2001 is a great example. But yeah, it doesn't always work. Now, historically, toys were in closed boxes in the 60s, the 50s, a little bit up into the 80s. But just because something worked in the past doesn't mean it works now. Advertising and customer expectations evolve. And once we got to the point in the late 80s and 90s where toys were being sold in blister cards, it's too late to go back. This is very much like what's going on with Bud Light. Now, obviously, Bud Light is in a different situation. It's not because they changed packaging, but they changed who their celebrity endorsements were with. And they chose someone that a good chunk of the country didn't agree with. I'm not going to go into whether that was, the rationale behind that, but the consequence is sales were down 30% for Bud Light. Now, how does this relate back to Hasbro? Well, Hasbro sales were down 34%, even more. The whole country was aware of what was going on with Bud Light, but we really haven't been paying attention to Hasbro's stock and sales because, well, it's not as sexy as exciting as, I guess, beer when you have Dylan Mulvaney as your spokesperson, because it creates a lot of press and a lot of interest. At the end of the day, one person at Hasbro decided to go plastic free. And as a consequence, now over 1,000 people are being laid off. Probably not the greatest idea, and hopefully toy companies will learn from this and focus back on making toys and creating wonderful child and collector memories, not trying to make a statement. Toys are about play, not necessarily making a political statement. I hope you enjoyed this video, and it was a good look at what is going on. Why did Hasbro just let go of 20% of their workforce, and how can they avoid doing that again? If you like this video, the best way to support the channel is to share these videos, and I thank you for that. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.